Rajkumar, those were about 50 hernia surgeries in about 12 hours. We saw the gentleman clapping. I, for one, would have been terrified had I been on that operation table. We'll try and go across to Dr. J.S. Rajkumar, Chairman of Lifeline Hospital, who actually performed those surgeries and tried to break that Guinness record. Dr. Rajkumar, thank you for joining us. Patients or guinea pigs, achievement or publicity stunt?
Good question, Sanjay, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to, to clear the air and square this out. Number one, this was part of a camp where a large number of patients were being screened and taken up for surgery. Number two, we were putting them not to an experiment but to a time-tested procedure where in a number of theatres, in 5 or 6 theatres, 5 or 6 surgeons were kind of operating, groups operating led by me. There was no risk to the patients at any point of time. The whole thing actually minute to minute, Sanjay, I'd like to point this out, not minute to minute, second to second was videographed. So every single patient's individual procedure is still available on video. It was seen by a panel of doctors and surgeons right there. And during this, we had 2 or 3 emergencies. We operated upon all those emergency patients as well. And I'm happy to say that all the 50 or so who underwent the hernia surgery as well as the emergency patients, not one of them died. Every one of them is well.
Srivathy, I want to ask you now, Dr. Rajkumar says nothing happened to those patients, but they were plain lucky, right?
Yeah, thank God. I don't know whether it was surgery or savagery. I mean, if I'm sorry to say the word.
All right.
See, are we here to set a world record or to break a Guinness record? Or are you treating that person as a statistic or as a patient?
Doctor, a lot of hospitals, in fact, with much fanfare, whenever they do either a liver transplant or some transplant, they call the media in droves almost and publicize that. A week later, the patient dies and they don't inform the media.
But please remember, the opposite is true. If a doctor is taken to court, you will play hell with the guy. But when he is cleared, you will never clear his name.
Mr. Desikan,
you said that about the Nellore case.
Okay.
And you started this with the Nellore case, so I will bring that up again. Have you mentioned anywhere since then, has any article or TV said that 4 different committees, one from the central government, state government, district and collector and from the drug controller, have cleared the doctor of any negligence? Has any media said that?
Fair enough, Mr. Desikan. Okay, sir. Do you think, once again, do you think that's a fair point? Because when the doctors perform, in fact, miraculous surgeries also, we don't tend to make a big deal about it. But the moment they go wrong, then there's a big hue and cry. I mean, point well taken.
I'm telling a simple thing. You were referred about Nellore case.
Yeah.
It is a very clear statement made in the media by the Enquiry Commission. The solution was infected.
That is not the doctor's negligence.
No, it is the paternity. Whether it is your servant negligence or it is the doctor's negligence, everything should be taken care by the top to bottom. Who is the sufferer?
No. Sir, let me finish now. Since you brought it up, can I finish that?
Yes, please.
I myself, as the president of the society, went there and talked to these people and investigated. Okay.
So
in a solution.
What was the cause? Was it because the environment was not sterile?
No, it was a solution. Contaminated batch of solution.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, balance salt or ringal lactate, which is used in the eye, 1 among 10 or 12 solutions that we use for a cataract surgery, is a clear solution. You cannot see contamination.
Is it not the duty of the doctor who is performed the operation to do the follow-up with the patient?
Yes, that's exactly.
They have done it.
No, they have done. 100% they have done.
Then why it has got such a proportion to losing the vision?
No, let me tell you, it would have been much more. And Sanjay was talking to me a little while before this. The strange thing is, 36 patients were operated, 29 free patients, 7 paying patients. Out of the 36, 23 were involved. The first patient who was operated was the father-in-law of a colleague doctor working in the same hospital. Mind you, so do you think that they would not have been careful? All normal precautions were taken. In the next day, one second.
He's as equal as any of the other patients.
Definitely. But even if you can take extra precaution, they should have. But the thing is, they were lucky because that evening or the early next morning, that father-in-law complained of pain and these doctors went beyond the call of duty, went and picked up the remaining 36 patients on their own. Now this is an exception, this is not the norm.
Doctor, I am sorry to tell you, even in Madras, there are some hospitals who are performing cataract operation for record's sake. Even before it is right.
Sanjay,
No, sir.
I can show you.
Don't digress now. Let me finish what I started. Because of that, because this same father-in-law complained of the pain, they immediately shut the theatre and 42 other patients were saved. Okay,
Fair enough. So the point taken. Yes, Srimati.
What happened in Maharashtra some time back was 52 cataract operations were done. More for records purpose, like what he is pointing out.
Madam, 52 is not a record.
Sir, let me tell you what happened in that case. The autoclave was not working. Sterilization was not done. No, 2 cases they went blind. And at that point of time, if they had taken the care to see whether the autoclave was done, the sterilization was carried out,
that is
then possibly, losing a vision is not safe. Today I would say, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
That is negligence, and the case has been already.
Yes, let us take the case of Mr. Chandrasekhar here. 17 lakhs was paid as a compensation for his losing.
After 10 years.
Yes, after 10 years.
10 years, and at that time he had to pay 7.5% court fee, right?
And
when there was no consumer protection.
And Sanjay, I'm sure if he would be willing to pay 10 times that money to get back what he was before, because he was one of the persons, when we were children, we used to watch him playing TT and we used to admire him.
Nellore case, doctor was referring about a father-in-law. So you doctor, you need a father-in-law, sister-in-law, wife, brother to be affected, then only the doctor will come on.
No, you are misinterpreting.
What do you mean, doctor?
You are putting words in.
No, I'm just asking you. A father-in-law was affected, the doctors rushed and picked up 36 doctors, 36 patients.
You are putting words in my mouth.
No, not words.
No.
Do you expect a father-in-law, sister-in-law, wife or husband to be affected or paralyzed or like Chandrasekhar?
No, you let me finish that. Don't put words in my mouth.
If there's a VIP patient.
No, it's nothing to do with VIP. The only reason I mentioned the father-in-law is when he complained of pain, his son, who is an ophthalmologist, diagnosed this at home much earlier than a normal person would have.
No,
that's what I said.
All right, Sundar, I want to bring you.
Not only he is fortunate, the remaining 42 who would have got operated were fortunate.
Yes, the latest Supreme Court ruling says you should get, in fact, an expert opinion from another doctor. How difficult is it to get one doctor to testify against another?
Subject to correction, that is only for criminal prosecution.
Yes.
Under 304 capital A of Indian Penal Code. Not for a claim.
Yes.
Before that, I want to say something more fundamental, if I can have audience for a minute. All this is essentially because the term corporate hospital that is being used. Please define what is a corporate hospital and contradistinguish it from a hospital. That would give a definite answer to whether it has become a trade or whether it is a calling. One. Number two, it comes under the purview of Consumer Protection Act or any of these claims, not because it is a trade, because it is a contract for personal service. Let's have that basic premise very clear instead of getting into specifics and melodramatic issues. And lastly, I take strong exception to saying defensive medicine is being practiced because of lawyers. If you say that defensive medicine is being practiced because of frivolous claims, I understand. That is a tenable proposition. But to say that it is because of lawyers is absolutely, I take strong exception to that. It is because of frivolous claims.
No, maybe my wording was wrong. Frivolous.
If you say it's wrong, I appreciate that.
No.
Yes, Mr.
I appreciate
Desai.
not lawyers, frivolous claims.
Frivolous claims.
Let me, reacting to what Mr. Sundar said, consumer organizations are some of the people who really started taking medical negligence thing. Immediately, the insurance premium went up, the medical consultation things went up, everything went up. But what everybody forgot was the medical insurance is for the total year for maybe about 1,000 cases that are being treated by a doctor. But it looked as though for every patient they have to add a lot of things.
Okay.
Number two, let me tell you, in medical negligence, a group of like as you were asking for a second opinion, we have a group of doctors, well-known doctors who will remain anonymous with our group. They examine every medical negligence case that comes to us, and we remove the name of the patient, remove the name of the doctor, remove hospital, everything, and give it past the have a meeting, circulate.
So it's a fair procedure.
We do a procedure.
I want to ask Dr. Mohandas and Dr. Babu Rajendra, whoever wants to take this question. There are several cases which have come to light where the moment the hospital knows that X patient has Mediclaim, the fees are hiked. Is it true or not?
No, I don't think so.
In fact, it is the other way around.
Yeah.
Because
yes, doctor.
Yeah, because when you are insured, the insurance company has tied up with us and has reduced
the rates are fixed actually.
The rates are fixed. Less than what normally we would charge. Okay. In fact, they fix the rate. Less room rent is less, doctor's fees is less, procedure is less. So we get
that is a corporate rate.
One particular hospital in fact sent out memos to its doctors saying you're not performing to your potential, meaning you're not sending enough people for scans. This happens regularly? Okay.
Yeah, that can happen. That's their in-house problem.
But that seems to be becoming rampant nowadays.
problem.
No, you cannot say that it is in-house problem. I would object to that. It is not ethics. Saying that in case you don't refer the person. Today what has happened is a person died just outside a hospital because due to lack of medical attention, and in fact their own, yes.
Are you talking about the government general hospital where the person was bleeding outside for 20 days, finally made it to the hospital but not to the operation theatre but to the Moderi?
He says today's paper.
Today's paper.
He was refused admission. One autocrat has brought him there. He was refused admission because there was no relative to sign for him. How is it possible for a man who is lying on the road to bring a relative and sign for him?
And you know this is against the law because Section 33 of the Indian Medical Council Act specially says that as soon as a person comes to you, you have to give first aid. You have to treat him absolutely and with paramount. That is the paramount importance of saving the life or protecting the life.
Okay.
That we do not see happening.
Chandra, in fact, you wanted to ask once again. Chandra wanted to ask a question to Dr. Mohandas.
Doctor, to both. Supposing, no, I'm also referring to my case a little bit here. Supposing a patient had suffered at your hospital, brain damage, and you know it's your fault, would you have treated the patient properly afterwards or simply said sorry and left it?
No,
there's no question of saying sorry and leaving.
That is very sad, isn't it, for a corporate hospital?
No. If you give by our, if you have had an accident, I must say it is an accident. If you have had an accident in a hospital while we are treating, we will stand by you. We will go all out to
Why do
treat
people
you.
go to court, doctor?
Beg your pardon?
Why do they go to court? Why do they go and make claims in court if the doctors are going to stand by the patient?
No, let me tell you one thing, Sanjay. In much of literature about all this, and I don't know whether they agree or not, much of this is a communication problem. It is not a question of a failed surgery going to court. It is a matter of a disgruntled patient who has not been communicated to properly. I don't know whether you agree with this or not.
No, it is because after the surgery goes wrong, the doctor they don't want to accept their thing. In fact, what happens in most of the cases is the medical records are not given.
We'll slide into another short break. When we return, we'll ask all the doctors and the lawyers here as to whether this sort of defensive medicine actually pushes up medical costs.